Well, I don't know why I've been doing these kinds of videos lately, but Merry Christmas! Here's a top 10 creepypastas videos. So if you're watching this late at night, good luck, because you'll probably not be able to go to sleep, but have fun watching the video and peace out. Anyways, so this first one is called The Rake, and here's the story. In 2003, in the northeast United States, there was an incident involving a human-like creature which actually attracted a lot of local attention from the media. And then after the story actually initially went out, most documents, online and written, were destroyed. And so all the accounts are pretty much gone of the creature. But even though that happened, there were still sightings of this creature. So in 2006, they had a collaboration and they made a very, very weird discovery. There were documents that were dated from the 12th century to now. And so here is a description of one couple that saw the rake. A woman awoke in the middle of the night and accidentally ended up waking her husband as well. She apologized and her husband turned around to look at her. He gasped and immediately grabbed his wife, fearing for her safety. At the foot of their bed, sitting and facing away from them, was the infamous creature, which is described as a big hairless dog. While the couple's eyes were still adjusting to the dark, the creature sprang up and crouched less than a foot away from the husband's face. It stared at him for a while and then made a dash for the children's bedrooms. The terrified couple immediately ran after it, fearing the worst for the children, but they were too late. They ran straight to their daughter's room, only to find her mutilated and close to death. As her daughter was dying, her final words were, "He is the rake." Now remember that. That is really creepy. Oh my god.
Can you feel the sunshine? Anyways, as you can probably tell by what I just said, this next one is called the Tails doll. This is actually a really, really popular one, but basically it all starts from a game called Sonic R, which I actually do own a physical copy. Oh, not physical copy. I don't own the Sonic Gems collection, but it was on the Sega Saturn initially, and it got ported to the Gems collection later, also on PC. But supposedly that game is cursed. It actually isn't. I mean, oh shoot! Oh no! I see him. He's here. Oh shoot! Okay, now he's out of the picture. But anyways, there are quite a few ways to, I guess, summon him. One of the ways is to complete Sonic R 100%. The other way is to play the tag mode, and what you do is you play as a Tails doll, and you tag everybody, but then you tag Super Sonic last, because apparently he'll gain the powers of Super Sonic and pop out your screen and kill you. And the third way to do this is, well, by going to a dark bathroom and playing Can You Feel the Sunshine or Living in the City backwards, which I've never done that, and I don't plan on it, but because I'm still a little scared from that, but anyways. Now I'm going to read to you an actual, story of the Tails doll, because there are so many. I'm going to read to you one of the stories, and I'm pretty sure this one is the main story, but I don't know. Anyways, here goes nothing. A man came home from work with a gift for his son. He had picked up a new video game for him, Sonic R. It was a racing game, and when he gave his son the gift, he was so excited to get it and play it right away. That night he played the game with his son and they had a great time. A couple of days later, the boy was almost finished with the game. His dad was there in his room when he beat the last boss, and he roared in excitement when he finally did it. He smiled and asked him how he liked the game as he watched the credit screen. What's that? He asked the boy when the Tails doll appeared on the screen. The boy said it was the Tails doll. That was all he knew. He told his son it was time for bed. During the night, the curious father went to the boy's room and turned on the TV very quietly to play the game for a while himself. He noticed that he now had the option to play as Tails doll. He chose him to tag up with some of the gang. The game was fun until he tagged him up with Sonic. The screen went black when the game system shut itself down. The man decided it was time for him to go to sleep since he had work in the morning, so he crept out of his son's room and went to lay in bed with his wife. At around 2 a.m. he woke up when he heard thumps in his door. He assumed it was his son getting up to ask him to get him something. He told the boy to stop, go back to bed. Thumping kept happening. At one point he noticed a little shadow coming under the door. Tails kept popping into his head. He got out of bed and slowly opened the door. Then he heard someone say this very softly, "You are coming with me forever." It was a doll, an evil blood-covered, possessed little doll. It was the doll from the game. It had to be. Now that is one creepy story, and that is a story that actually got me paranoid for a while. That Tails doll actually did exist. And I'm still kind of paranoid. I'm kidding. Maybe not. Oh well. Shh. Okay, so this one is when I've been totally freaked out to tell, because for some reason I just been scared looking at the picture, and it actually took me a day to get this right. Also because last time I tried to record this one, Audacity froze, which is a little scary considering the topic of this video. But this one is Jeff the Killer. So basically the story of Jeff the Killer is he was a boy who moved into a new house with his family, obviously. And well, there's one day where Jeff and his brother got attacked by 3 teenagers. But somehow Jeff managed to defeat the 3 teenagers, leaving them with knife wounds and other stuff like that, because Jeff actually stabbed the teenagers. But then soon after, he actually found out that he enjoyed putting other people in pain, and so later he carved a permanent smile on his face and cut off his eyelids so he could avoid sleep. And the last thing that he ever said to his mom was, "Mom, you lied." And then he killed his whole entire family and then said, "Shh, go to sleep." Whew, that was the scariest one of them all. Okay, so this next one is legit called Annie96's Typing. And it's a really creepy one, but it basically, to sum it up, it's pretty much these two people, Annie and David, are chatting on WhatsApp, I believe it is. And then Annie all of a sudden hears a noise in her garden. And so she's all freaking out, and David's trying to help her and stuff. And so what she does is checks out what's going on in the garden. And Annie thinks that it's David who's in the garden, but she realizes it's somebody else. And so the person in the garden slowly, creepily goes into her house and sits closer and closer and closer and basically kills Annie. But then the person goes on her phone saying that the noises have stopped, posing as Annie. And so David is like, "Annie, how do I know this is you?" And then later it says Annie96 is offline. Oh my freaking god, that is scary. I will actually have a link down below for you guys to read the entire chat between David and Annie down below. This next one is Ben Drowned, and this was witnessed by a guy who for some reason he had a quite odd copy of Legend of Zelda: The Majora's Mask, and he pretty much had a creepy cartridge. And so when he played it, he noticed there was a save file called Ben, and as he was playing through the save file called Ben, he noticed the game was doing really, really creepy things, such as music playing backwards and text displaying really, really weird. But then he started playing more further. He ran into this character named Ben, who had drowned. And then he started getting really creepy messages like, "You shouldn't have done that," or "You have met with a terrible fate," and all kinds of stuff like that. And well, somebody recorded all this footage, and it's actually on YouTube, so if you want to watch it, go ahead, but I apologize. You will poop your pants. This next creepypasta is about a figure skater named Nora Petrova, who is actually one of the best figure skaters, I believe, in the USA, until she actually discovered a Wikipedia page about herself, where people have been pretty much predicting her wins for her. Like, what they've been doing is putting that she won this competition, and then for some reason, I don't know how this happened, but she actually ended up winning it. So people have pretty much been predicting her wins for her before her competition, and then when she discovered it, she tried to predict one of her own wins, and ever since she did that, her life went down the toilet. She got into a bunch of accidents and stuff, and she ended up dying in 2010. While this Wikipedia page isn't actually real, there is one real Wikipedia page called Maria Petrova, and for some reason, if you look at it, it says the date she died was December 12, 2016. It is freaking creepy. If you guys want to check it out at your own risk. Oh my freaking god. Okay, this one is probably going to be the most creepy out of all of them, because this thing kind of actually exists. This is Robert the Doll, and he is an actual doll. So, story of Robert the Doll is he was given. Okay, so this doll was given to a person named Robert Eugene Otto, who was an artist, and he pretty much. So Robert named the doll after himself, hence the name Robert. And so I don't know how this happened, but the doll actually got a life of its own and began to terrorize his entire family. And then I don't know why he did this, but Otto kept the doll into adulthood. And then the doll kept tormenting his wife, and his wife eventually got led into insanity. And then the doll was found by another family, and the girl that took it was terrified and refused to have it in her room. And now the doll is actually in Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. And if visitors want to take a picture of it, they must ask the doll politely. Otherwise, if they mock him or they take Robert's photo without his permission, Robert will lay a curse on them, supposedly. Freaking heck, man, that is, oh my god. This next one is called the No End House, and pretty much in this one, there was a boy who was bet, I think it was from his friends or whatever, but there was a bet that he would win $500 if he could go to this really scary haunted house all by himself. He thought he could do it, but as he stepped inside the haunted house, he was scared for life. There were a lot of scarring sights, with the worst one being witnessing the murder of his own parents. But as soon as he got to what he believed was the second to last room / floor of the house, room 8, what he saw was a clone of himself with a thing on his back, which I think was a stab wound, but it was carved. I'm pretty sure it was a carved stab wound saying 9 on it. So pretty much to escape, he eventually pretty much had to kill himself. but he actually did end up getting the $500. But for whatever reason, now on his room, there is something carved on the door saying room 10, and now he just laughs at it because he realizes there was no like actual end to the no end house, which is kind of the point of the title. But you know, that is also a really creepy one, but not as creepy as Robert the Doll. This next creepypasta is called Kendall Cleaver, and what Kendall Cleaver is, it was actually a really old TV show. I believe it's from the 70s, but pretty much the story of it is there was very few people who remember watching it back in the day, and people are like asking about if they know what it is. Nobody knows exactly what it is about. I think there's some stories about how it was about pirates and stuff, but people are starting to remember more now, more and more, and now memories have been getting darker about that show. So it's pretty much just a creepy old TV show back in the 70s. Now for possibly one of the creepiest creepypastas ever, here is Marana Morgard Glasgow. I apologize if people did not want me to mention this one, but I had to because this is the creepiest one ever. So there is a video on YouTube named Marana Morgard Glasgow, which is actually of the person himself. And by the way, if you search it, you will find the original video is removed, so you won't find the original video. Like the few times you will ever find something searching that term, you will find a 20-second video of him staring at you. No face expression whatsoever, just his face staring at you. But then he smiles in the last 2 seconds, which is freaking scary. But the reason this video was removed was because 153 people watched it and they freaking gouged their eyes out and mailed them to YouTube. I don't know why they did that, but anyway, some people even committed suicide because of how scary the video was. And I have no clue how they mailed their eyes, but you know. YouTube normally just puts in the first 20 seconds so that people will watch it and probably not actually look up the entire thing because it is freaking scary. And the video actually was viewed by one YouTube staff member who actually started screaming after 45 seconds of watching the video. And now he's actually under some stuff, and he's actually apparently unable to recall what happened to him after he saw the video. And well, have fun watching the video. If you guys want to look it up, I just look it up. I believe some people actually re-uploaded the full thing, which I wouldn't recommend watching it. But if you want to, then by all means go ahead. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys want me to actually do creepypasta readings, read the full entire story. But I warn you, if I do those videos will actually not be censored out because censored out as in language, because I tend to read stories with actual quotes, not quotes, but exactly how it's written, so I don't want to censor out swear words, you know. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and Merry Christmas.